What's going on, y'all? So listen, y'all. Forgive me if my face look a little puffy, the eyeballs look a little puffy, cause I'm not gonna sit here. Ooh, Lord have mercy. I'm gonna pick that up later. I'm not gonna sit here and lie to y'all, okay? Because this episode of The Shy really got to me. Girl, I was in my feelings. Baby, I'm not even going to play with y'all. 5 minutes into it, I was in tears for a little bit. I was in tears for a little bit. And towards the end, no, at the end, baby, girl, I just... Waterfalls, okay? I'm sitting here like, oh my God, it's like I know these people, but I really don't. But I just feel emotions and everything. This was a heavy episode. And it went by kind of fast because by the time I realized that it was going off, I didn't realize this much has went past. I was like, damn, almost an hour done went past already. But anyway, this is The Shy, season 7. Oh, no, season 6, episode 7, Long Live. So when we first see the episode come on, we see the church and the way that it's being like long lens and then zoom in like that or whatever. And we see the pulpit and we seeing it at first from somebody's perspective, and we realize that it's Papa's, and then we see Papa, and he just falls to the altar. He falls to the floor right in front of the pulpit, and in his little North Face hoodie, I just felt so bad for this boy. First of all, he the only child, right? And then the person that he brought into his household is the reason why. Not necessarily the reason why, but he's associated with the reason and the people that caused his father's death. Mind you, this is a person that he took the side of and tried to bring into the fold after the issues that was going on with him and the other guys in the group. You know what I'm saying? The whole Jake situation. Remember when Bakari and why is this acting up? Bakari and Jake didn't get along, you know what I'm saying? Because of the whole situation where they had their beef from early years, you know what I'm saying? They had got into a fight at one point because Reg, who was Jake's big brother, other big brother, you know, he was a part of a gang, and Bakari people was part of another street gang or whatever, so they was enemies, and they got into a fight because of that. Then they became somewhat cool, or it's okay for the moment, but then that whole situation with Gemma losing the baby because of him and him having a gun at the party and all that stuff, it was a mess. So you bringing people into the fold, trying to give them a chance, trying to give them love, trying to show them God and all that stuff. And then for this to happen where we're not going to say that he caused the death of the pastor, but again, he's associated with the people who did, you know. And we can't blame it on Bakari again because the pastor made this choice himself when he initially went on ahead and was laundering money for Duda through the church at the beginning, but then he stopped that, and because now he want to live a more righteous path and take a more stance, he's like, no, I'm not going to do this, and that cost his life because he said no, okay, and it was making other people deter from Duda and doing all that. I'm just gonna say this. Bakari is doing his thing, okay? Bakari is doing his thing. Now, I seen that he's supposed to be up in the new episode of, not The Shy. What is this? Power Book 4. So, it's a couple of, it's Dre is over there in Power Book 4 playing, Stacy, right? The girl that's gonna head over the, task force to try to get Tommy. Also, Nook is also in Power Book 4. He's one of the dudes that was walking with Jannard. And I forgot that Bakari had already been up in Power Book 4 season 1. Remember, I think he at one point either was somebody's cousin or he was cool with Tommy's nephew. And I seen on Twitter, it was like, why is there so much crossover from these shows? Because all of them are Chi-Town actors. So, it only kind of makes sense in that sense. But, get your money back. But back to Bakari, I just had to put it out there because they was acting their asses off this episode. They was really acting their asses off this episode. I mean, what is going on? So y'all just ain't going to play right? crying and everything. Bakari coming up in there, girl, to the chop shop, trying to come at Duda, Nook and whatever, because he was like, I know you did this. And that other dude, he irks me. Like, I just don't trust him. He the silent type. He the silent type, the one that you got to watch out for, because you can tell that he trying to study the situation around him. You know what I'm saying? And you can see, or you can look at it as if he's trying to be a loyal soldier. Like, he's not gonna back talk. He gonna follow right up and close behind Duda. I mean, all the way up in his booty. You know what I'm saying? He right up on it like a tick on his ass. Okay. And he not gonna back talk. Okay. He don't have a problem pulling the trigger or anything like that. But at the same time, the fact that he be so quiet and he's so eager to do stuff, I don't trust him. That's the one that you really don't trust. Especially during that part where he was sitting down there playing the chess. Oh, yeah. I didn't like that scene because I said, Nuck, you need to watch it back. Because I feel like he probably going to try to do something to Nuck. You know, because he wants that position where Nuck is at. Nuck is right underneath Duda. All right. If Nuck is second in command, Dude is kind of like probably third or trying to get somewhere in command, but he's like in training. But he wants Nuck's spot. That's all I'm gonna say on that one for right now. But when Bakari came up in that chop shop, and he went up to Nuck and he put that gun on under his chin, because Nuck was just smiling and stuff. And he was like, "Why'd you have to kill Pastor Johnson? Why'd you have to do it?" I said, now see, I understand being upset. I understand the implications of that. I understand the pain or whatever, but you knew exactly why. You knew exactly why. And you knew he wasn't going to be able to just spare him without sparing his life. And you just know, or without his life getting taken. Because if he wouldn't have did what he needed to do from Duda definitely would have had that boy take him out. Okay? And so, you know, he had to do what he had to do. Everybody gets under Duda's thumb, whether they want to or not. And, you know, him putting I get the emotion behind it because he feel guilt because he's working with these people. But at the same time, I'm like, you really trying to take your own life? You on a unalive mission or something? Because you come up in there and you put a gun to him, you got crazy dude next to you finna put a gun to you. So it's like if he die, you die, and what's the point? Dude, I still there. Okay, I understand we want to get the person that actually did this, but we need to get the head who actually did this, which is Duda, all right? And so, of course, he left, and, you know, he was up in tears, and Papa, oh, my God, when Papa was up in that church by himself, and then when the boys came, Kevin and Jake came, and, you know, tried to give him comfort. And they're young, so I just, oh Lord, it was just really, really heavy. I was glad that they were there for him and they respected what he wanted, because sometimes people would be like, you want me to go, and they really say they want you to go, they want to be alone, but they really don't, and they want you to stay, but they can't really say it. But in that moment, I really feel like, you know, I respected the fact that they respected what he wanted, and what he wanted was for them to go. And so they just let him know that they love him, and that they'll be there for him whenever he need him. And, you know, he just sat there and cried and all that. Bakari did come up in there trying to talk to him, and of course he wasn't trying to talk to him. And I understood that. I know Bakari felt so bad. He felt so guilty. He felt all of those things. But I do feel like it was a little too soon for him to come up in there, because the emotions are extremely raw. Extremely raw. And I know it's, again, because of his guilty conscience is eating him up. And because at one point, Papa's daddy looked at him like a son, and he looked at Papa like a brother. So that's how close they got in a short amount of time. You know what I'm saying? And he just feels guilty about it. And that's going to be something that he going to have to live with for the rest of his life. Moving on from that, Emmett and Keisha. Baby, I don't know if Emmett and Keisha going to last. I just don't. I don't know. I really don't. Because at this point, you got Keisha Ever since this season came on, Keisha and Emmett have been getting into it. They haven't been in bliss. You know what I'm saying? They haven't been in couple bliss. I was about to say marital, but I forgot that they are not married. They have not been in couple bliss. You know what I'm saying? It's always something going on. And I'm just like, either he gonna push her away or she gonna push him away, or they both gonna push each other away. She is mad at him because he is working with Duda and he got them into this situation, and because of that money that she found and all that stuff. And mind you, this is what she found last week. And I'm sitting here like, I get that, and yes, maybe he should have listened to you, but at this point in time, you sitting there telling him, you know, you're going to have to get us out of this because I don't want nothing to happen and all this stuff, and, you know, I'm going to have to go and all this and woo, woo, woo. You're getting so pissed and everything as if it's that easy for him to get away from Duda. You know how he works. Everybody knows how he works, and to act as if all he got to do is go up there and say, I'm done, that's it, we done, we out. That ain't how it goes. Mind you, he had to sit down and he was talking to Darnell, and Darnell said, you know, whatever you need, son, just let me know. I was waiting for him to start breaking down and crying because it was a couple of moments where his voice was shaking a little bit, but you can see the fear, you can see the nervousness and anxiety that's building up, because at this point, his life is on the line, his family's life is on the line, his business is on the line. And when he told Darnell, yeah, I want to buy him out, but he don't know where he going to get that money from. And knowing Duda, given that he invested all that money into Smokies, and then he opened up another Smokies on the East Coast, oh, baby, plus the house, plus the cars, plus the clothes, and everything else that he probably didn't gave him, I'm pretty sure it's over $1 million, and he ain't got that money. He ain't got that money, okay? So he trapped at this point. And I'm going to need Keisha to just, this is what you get for moving too fast. And I don't want to blame her because she ain't got no blame in this, because she was telling him, you know, don't do nothing with him. But he didn't listen. But, yeah, sometimes you need to just let this be a reason to slow down and get to know a person for real, for real. Just because you know them when you was growing up and when y'all was this age, that age, that don't mean how it is now, okay? I'm just saying. Then she texting somebody talking about something, can we talk? Girl, she go down to the cigar. We up here looking at her talking to Nook. I said, what? Baby, Nook really feel for her. You know what I'm saying? And also talking about guilty consciences and stuff, Nook has a guilty conscience, all right? Because of the whole situation that happened with Keisha getting abducted, because he could have came and picked her up. Remember, they were dating or starting to date when she got, you know, kidnapped or whatever. And she was at the bus stop and she was getting a bus to go out there trying to go kick it with him, and that's when she got picked up. But he feels bad about that, right? And so she was just telling him, you need to tell Duda, you need to do whatever you got to do to get us out of this, to protect Emmett and all of that stuff. And he was like, I got this under control, because at one point he just really wasn't feeling it, like, you know, I can't do nothing. And she was like, you need to. It was like, I am scared for my family. And he was like, you know, I wouldn't let nothing happen to you. She said, you already did. I said, oh. I was like, woo, you ain't have to throw the truth up in his face like that. But he said basically he'll see what he can do. That's when he get that whole scene where he was playing chess with Duda, and old boy was like, I want to learn how to play chess. When you going to teach me? It was like, in due time, okay? It's a man's game, you know? And Duda was talking about how to move the pieces and how you're supposed to move the pieces. And then at one point, he was like, you gotta, because Nook said, I'm trying to protect my queen. And he said, no, you're supposed to use the queen. You can't always use the pawns and all that stuff. You gotta use the queen to take out the pawns and all this stuff. Woo, woo, woo. And basically, it was a metaphor. It was a metaphor. And he was just telling him, like, you're a little bit too soft, okay? Your weakness is going to be whatever woman you get. And at this point, it's reverting back to Keisha, because right about now, Nook's weakness is Keisha and feeling guilt for what happened to her. And, she already says you need to protect. And mind you, old boy sitting over there laughing at him. I said, child, I don't trust that man. I don't trust that man. I really don't. Meanwhile, Keisha, she had went to therapy. I said like that. She went to therapy. She went to therapy because she just needs to understand what's going on. Like, she just feels like the relationship between her and Emmett is not working because they are not communicating right. He's putting them in danger and all of this stuff. And basically what it got down to is the therapist wound up, everything always reverts back to childhood and how you saw things growing up. And the way that she's working her relationship, and if you remember 2 episodes ago when she came over to the house to talk to Dre, and Dre, this was when Dre first found out about her ex working at the center with her. Yeah, and they was having that little argument in the kitchen, Dre and Nina. And when Keisha came in, she overheard, and she was like, damn, I sound just like my mama, because I literally just said something similar to Emmett before I left out of here. And so basically, she is her mother, right? And that's because that's what she's seen, you know. But we get into the whole situation of her growing up, and, you know, the therapist had asked, did she grow up with both her parents? And she was like, her parents divorced when she was like a child. And it was really, and, you know, the daddy died when he was like, oh yeah, the daddy did die like in season 1 or season 2. And it was sudden, okay? Their father passed away. And when the dad died, or when they got divorced, it was one of those situations where she didn't understand exactly why they got divorced, because they never saw them argue or anything like that. And the therapist was like, it's better for the kids to see some of that type of interaction, not a lot, but some of that type of interaction, so they can understand how to deal with certain things as they get older. Because it's almost as if you're taking out stuff that you seen on Emmett or whatever, and you resent your mama and all that stuff, and you kind of turn it into your mama. And then, you know, we found out that the mom, the daddy basically controlled that whole household. And it was one of those, he wanted one of those traditional households where he says what is to be done and you do it. You know, you eat this, you say this, you do this, and you come in the house at this time. So he was the only one with control. And, you know, the therapist was like, maybe now the way that y'all relationship is because she lacked control then, and she's trying to make up for the control that she did not have. And so also she said, your mama probably the first person that broke your heart. And I said, God damn. Ooh, I ain't never hear no shit like that for a woman. I said, wow, that kind of got me. I mean, I ain't in that situation, okay? But I said, okay, now who up there doing something over there on the writing staff over there at the shop? Because that was good. Y'all had a couple of good one-liners just about every episode. I'm not going to lie about that. And then the therapist wanted her to bring in her mama. And she was like, girl, I don't know about that. At first, she was a little hesitant and a little resistant because she said she wanted the therapy session to be all about her, you know. But sometimes you have to go back and bring in the people that's heavily involved in your life to understand why you are the way that you are. So when Nina did pop up, I was really confused. I said, did something happen? Because is Nina mad that you told her to come up in there so that lady can tell her about herself, and she just had a stank face on herself, and y'all sitting on opposite ends of the couch? But honestly, the way that the camera angle was, they made it seem like the couch was just so huge, and they was this far end of the couch and this far end of the couch, when the couch really wasn't that big. But it's just to give you that effect that something heavy has happened. Some revelations have happened. Some, you know, some things have gotten out. And I was just sitting there like, damn, Nina, why you sitting there all mad? Because Nina always be mad. I said, oh, you have the right to be mad. That's what the line said, okay? I guess, girl, you do. You know, we do, okay? Because, bitch, shit be happening. You know, and so she was like, I'm just trying to understand why you got me up in here and got this lady telling me about myself. I said, girl, just listen. Nina, what we gathered is, Nina is the way that she is because of the fact that she got married to somebody that she, technically speaking, did not really want to get married to, because she did not want to get married. She didn't want to get married. She didn't want to have kids. She wanted to go out and explore. She wanted to get to know who she was. She wanted to, you know, probably play around with her sexuality and see what she liked, who she liked, how she liked. And she wanted to travel, and she didn't get a chance to do that because she wanted to be the good daughter. You know what I'm saying? In order to be the good daughter back in the day from where she grew up, you had to get married and you had to have kids and you had to have this family life and the structure and all this. And I get exactly where she comes from, and it opens up if you actually saw the scene and explain a little bit more as to why she acts the way that she acts now. And they was talking about this whole thing of the kids wanting her around more. And I know it's a lot of us that probably have those type of feelings or had those feelings towards our parents, where when we were younger, we wanted them around more, but they couldn't be around more because they was actually working to put a roof over our heads and to put food on the table and to clothe us. And they tired as hell. They be gone all day and then they got to come home and do another job by taking care of the family and doing nothing, absolutely nothing, and having no energy for themselves. And so hindsight is 20/20 sometimes. Like, we can be upset about it, but we have to also be understanding, because if our parents who was out there doing all this didn't have to do that, and if they could have chose to just stay in there and just kick it with us and just be around us all the time, I'm pretty sure they gladly would, and it's a comedy motion, we get it. But Keisha was kind of feeling some type of way about it. But deal with Nina had threw out there like, honestly, I didn't even really want to have kids. Okay, I never wanted to have kids. Baby, listen, I got exactly where Nina was coming from. Nina was saying she didn't want to have kids, not saying that she didn't want Keisha, she didn't want Kevin, she don't love them or nothing like that. She's just saying when she was growing up, her personal thing was she didn't plan on getting married because she didn't have the desire to get married. She didn't have the desire to have kids. But to fit in with the societal things and her family, she got married. She had the kids. And she is just like a lot of people who grew up in the 70s, who grew up in the 60s and, the 80s, all of that. They had to live their life undercover. You know what I'm saying? Because the world wasn't ready for them to be out and proud the way that people are now. That's why you have a lot of people these day and age coming out of the closet at older ages, because back then it wasn't acceptable, so they just played along and faked like they were straight. Went on ahead and married somebody, had some kids, and next thing you know, it's like, listen, the kids out the house, let me go ahead and get divorced and go ahead and live my life. That's when you get a lot of undercover stuff happening, you know what I'm saying? And that's just a whole nother story another day. Keisha was stuck on that. I said, now, Keisha, come on, girl. You are smart. She was like, I just found out that my mama don't want me. I said, girl, that is not what it was. I said, child, y'all need psychotherapy at this point. Jake and Josh, wrong show. Jake and Vince, wrong person. Jake and Victor, there it is. Who the hell is Vince? Oh, I know who it is. It's somebody that was somebody. I did a library card for somebody that, girl, I have to tell y'all what happened yesterday. I think I might do a separate video, because when I tell you the shit show that happened at work, a mess. Anyway, if you from Chicago and if the libraries around you was shut down, I'm about to tell you why later in another video, okay? Because it was a mess. Anyway, so you had that going on. Victor and Jake had a little conversation, and he just wanted to be told what was going on, because Victor was asking him how he was feeling, especially after the whole death of Pastor Johnson. And at this point, they're using this moment to just open up. So Victor winds up telling him, he said, you can't tell nobody. Told him about the whole situation with Duda and Q and all that stuff. And he was like, basically, before he could tell him everything that was going on, Jake was filling in the pieces. He was like, so he told you to come over and he had you double body or whatever. And he was like, hey, he was like, come on. Excuse me, Duda only come over here when he needs something and when he wants you to do something, okay? Why else would he be over here? I said, yeah, you absolutely right. Man, y'all remember Jake used to stay with him, so he know exactly how Duda works. And so he was like, basically still trying to figure out what should he do with this whole court case, not the court case, but the FBI situation. And he was like, listen, Don't say nothing. Don't snitch. And Jake was, Victor was like, I knew you was going to say something like that. And he was like, no, I'm saying, don't say nothing because we need you more out here. The community needs you more out here. And you want to make changes and stuff. And you can't do that while you're in jail, you know? And so he was like, cool, I hear that. Mind you, he decided because the community is in an uproar, especially because one of their leaders, Pastor Johnson, got killed in his own home. So he told Quincy that he wanted to throw a memorial for him. Okay. And I felt so bad for Miss Kenya. Kenya better than me. Kenya better than me because listen, even though I know you hurting, and you throwing these shots because you hurting, so you want me to hurt too. You want everybody around you to hurt because you hurting. I understand, but baby, I have to be a little bit madder than that and be like, oh, so that's how we gonna do it? Fuck you and your daddy. Okay, that's just, I'm sorry, that's just how I am. I'm sorry, I have to work on that. You know, it's just a pettiness. It's just a hurt me and I hurt you back type of thing. I gotta work on that, you know. Everybody needs a little bit of understanding. He was over there at the house, and Kenya had came over there, and he was just scrolling through his phones, looking at some of the pictures. And the last pictures that he has of his father was when they took the pictures together when they was going off to prom, and prom, and I believe graduation and all of that. And so Kenya was like, "You okay? No. You need something? No. You want me to go? Yes. You want to be alone? Okay." He was just so dry, and he was just so like with an attitude. And I'm sitting here like, now I understand that you feeling in some type of way. You ain't do that to your friends. That's your girl. You should have the same feelings in talking to in the same tone that you talk to your friends to her. Why are you so angry with her like that? Girl, I forgot about the last conversation that they had, because he was like, because she said, I understand that you hurting, but that don't mean that you have to come at me the way that you coming at me. And he said, listen, you want to know what? The last conversation I had with my daddy was talking about you and how I'm not ready to be having the responsibility, this type of responsibility. And you want to know what? He was right. I said, oh my God. I said, now, Papa, you ain't have to do that. I said, we're going to give you a pass. We're going to give you a pass, but he hurt Kenya to her soul. Kenya like him, probably damn near love him, okay? Because that shit hurt her. And that's the fear I feel for single parents, because honestly, I'm just going to be real with y'all. If I was to get into a relationship with somebody, I would prefer to not be in a relationship with somebody that already have kids. I want somebody that's childless, you know what I'm saying? But single parents need, but if I do get up with somebody and they just so happen to have kids and we vibe, I let it slide. But preferably, I would want somebody that does not have kids. But if, again, we got that connection, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Bring a little booger along, okay? I'll be stud daddy if you need me to. You know what? It is like... It's a thing that they say studs for forever try to play daddy. Stud daddy to somebody kid. Not this one over here. Girl, bring him over. Take him back, okay? Don't ask me to watch him. Anyway, so when he said that, you know, like the single parents, they need love too. They want a relationship too. And that's probably the fear that she already had, given that she's young. She's only 19. She has a son. And mind you, the boy looked like he a good 3 years old. Okay, so she must have had him when she was 16. You know what I'm saying? Got a little, she messed up a little bit and probably thinking that she ain't gonna never find somebody to love her or respect her because she's quote unquote soiled, especially because they up in the church or whatever, because that's probably what they think. And I felt bad for her because I saw it. I saw it hit her in her throat because she turned around and looked at him like, ain't this about a bitch? Meanwhile, we get this scene when Gemma, first of all, Myesha was up in the studio, right? They was in the same studio that they was in last week. And she waiting on them to come and all that stuff, right? Gemma pops up in the studio finally. Okay, the engineer is there. And, you know, Myesha like, damn, so you up here trying to tell me to take this thing serious, and yet here you come 20 minutes late. She was like, my bad, I had some other stuff to do. I had another business meeting. And she was like, business meeting? Girl, please, who was your business meeting? And she was like, I was talking to Brittany. Y'all remember Brittany, who is Bakari's sister, right? And it was like, oh, so that's what you're doing? She was like, because I'm trying to work with her. How you going to work with her when you ain't even got nothing done for me? It was like, well, she got something going and she got an EP that's about to come out and it's already this. Girl, they was going off on each other. And I'm just sitting here like, Miss Gemma is feeling herself a little bit too much right about now. Because if y'all notice, now I said I was cool with the fact that Tiara came in and was being like a big sister type figure that she needed. But Miss Gemma got her help. Y'all remember, Gemma has gone through a whole bunch of transformations, okay? Because remember, Miss Gemma came through when we first saw her and she had her little afro and everything. Now she got a little silk press, okay? She got her hair flat ironed and all of that stuff. She come in dressed like Tiara, looking like Tiara, acting like Tiara. And I said, oh. I did not realize how loud the sound be picking up on this camera from what's going on outside until y'all sent me the clip. Somebody posted a clip from my What It Is on Twitter the other day from when that car accident happened. Ain't nothing happened to them, okay? They was fine, you know what I'm saying? And the cars wasn't even that messed up. It just was, everything was just so loud, okay? But I didn't realize how loud it was until I listened to that. Y'all be going through that? I'm so sorry. So when the ambulance be come through, it must be loud as hell. I'm so sorry. But no, Gemma is getting a little bit besides herself, whatever. And so at this point, Myesha went on ahead and she did like a freestyle about the whole situation. I said, because she like, you don't even know her. You don't even know her music like that or whatever. That ain't the type of... Even Jake said that. Jake said because they was sitting down and she was doing his hair and he was like, she sound exactly like all the other shit that's out there. You need to just stick with Myesha. Now, see, he's saying that to make it seem like, you know, he really give a damn, but it's really because he don't want Gemma to get caught up with Brittany. Because I told y'all, I just got a feeling Gemma might go a little... Gemma goes where the wind blows and where her coochie just tingles to the left or the right or to the front. She's going to go that way. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, I'm just saying, they 18 at this point. I can say that, okay? But if you done slept with the best friend, you was with the best friend, and then you done slept with his friend, and now y'all, don't be surprised. It's Miss Gemma. The next thing that she gonna do that's gonna throw us off is she up here getting her cootie ate. Okay, I'm just saying, because Miss Brittany was flirting hard, and Jake said, yeah, just make sure that's all the business that she want. I said, now, you know damn well that ain't all the business that she want, but we're going to let it go right then and there. Meanwhile, over there at Rashad and his girlfriend's house, they sleep on the couch because they were watching a movie and they just fell asleep on the couch all cuddled up. That's so nice. One day it'll be me. I don't know when, but one day it'll be me. And next thing you know, you hear something like somebody rummaging through the house or whatever. Rashad wakes up. Mama in a deep sleep. Because I said, now how Rashad hear that and you don't feel him moving and everything? Girl, she stayed asleep the whole time. And he went into that vent and got a gun. He got that bag of guns, took one of them little rifles out, and he was about to pop whoever was up in the kitchen or whatever. And so at that moment, when he turned back around and old girl finally woke up, she was like, oh my God, what's going on? She see him with the gun, and then she see the bag of guns. She was like, oh my God, what are you doing? You selling drugs? You breaking that stuff up in my house? And he was like, no, I'm not selling drugs. What is that? You know? She was like, get that out of my house. And I just hope she don't use this as a reason to break up with him, even though I know she said, get this out my house or you're going to go out my house. You know what I'm saying? Because now it's my house. Because remember earlier in the season, she kept on saying, our house, now it's my house. Right. You know when you get pissed off, the real feelings come out. And I just hope that she don't kick him out. She did tell him to get that out. He was leaving it. And he gave that stuff to Bakari. He was like, what I'm going to do with it? He was like, I don't know what you're going to do with it, but you're going to have to do something with it. I ain't finna do it no more. Bakari going to go over there and take it to Nina and Dre's house to go put it up in Janae. It ain't worth it. It ain't worth it. It it's not worth it, baby. Like, you feeling, Bakari, I get it, but you are literally a bad seed at this point. You are, the boy is finna get everybody in trouble, okay? Like, the girl just went on ahead and said, after saying, no, I ain't finna let that stay up in the house or whatever, but then went on ahead and convinced him to let her put it in the closet. And I said, now, if you gonna put it in the closet, baby, put it underneath the bed. Put it underneath the bed and put the chest in front of it or whatever. Because parents, when they go through your room, one thing they gonna do is go through that closet. And you want punishment? Girl, come on. I said, oh my God, man, when Nina and Dre find them guns up in the house, it's gonna be a mess, and you know they gonna find it. The scene with Kevin getting dressed, well, I should say packing up. I was about to say, Kevin got evicted. I forgot he was going to LA, and Emmett was there, and Emmett looked like he was about to cry at one point. Kevin was like, you good? He was like, yeah, I'm good, I'm good, good. And he was like, all right. And I just love that little moment because, again, I love the fact that even though Brandon is not here, Emmett did step up to be like a big brother and a positive, somewhat positive role model to him. And it was like, whenever you need me, I'm here. I'm just a phone call away. Victor had a little sit down with Fatima people, her mother. You know, if you know how the houses goes, you know, in the LGBT world, you know, you got a certain house and you got your drag mama or, you know, your drag daddy and all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? And so that's who she was with. That's who those ladies were. And basically, they was just filling him out, and he talking about if they had a family, do you think she want a family? Eventually, she had fixed up the house or whatever, and he did talk to her about wanting to start a family, and it was something that she wanted but never thought that she could achieve. And you know, it's cool at this point. I don't really care about the Victor and you know, what's his name situation, but Victor and Jake and, you know, their home life at this point, because it's not nothing really flowing. Victor and Jake are good. I like the fact that they're good now. And then Victor got his woman, Jake got his woman. It's like, I don't care. If Victor ain't finna go to jail, baby, we don't care about that. Moving on from that, there's no story there. Over there at the funeral home, Bakari did get to see the Pastor Johnson. He was crying over him, and this was like probably the wake or whatever before everybody showed up. And then Papa had came in there and was just like, you know, he did look at you like a son, and you know, he loves you and all that stuff, and woo woo. They had a moment where he just broke down crying, and they embraced each other. And the way that he had him and he was holding his head, I was sitting here like, this is the type of black men representation that we need to see on TV. Like, we don't always gotta have the thugness or whatever, even though they do a little bit of some of that up in the in here, which is fine with me, you know, but they balance it out. They don't have everybody being so hard and all that stuff all the time. All right, but I'm gonna say this. This funeral This funeral had me all up in my feelings so hard. Everybody showed up in white. Everybody's just sitting there. Emmett and Keisha, you know, niggas just really gotta bring their personal business to other people's stuff. Cause he went down there to talk to he talked about some where do that at? And Nook was like, your girl already fixed that. And he was like, ain't that about a bitch? So he mad. And he go see Keisha at the funeral and gonna say something. If you go down there, you talk to Nook ever again, I'm gonna leave you. I said, nigga, I'm sitting here like in the house of the Lord. We doing this in the house of the Lord? At a funeral? If you don't sit your ass down, okay? I was like, what the hell is happening? Girl, if they don't get out of here, Emmett, at this point in time, you ain't got no right to say nothing. Because you the one that got them into this situation, got y'all into this situation. So you sit there and you shut it up, okay? Shut it up. Sounded like some soul food ass lemon bird mess, okay? Girl, when the funeral gets started, they had this guy up in the choir and he was singing his ass off, girl. I mean, he was singing his ass off. Next thing you know, Papa was sitting there like this when we see Papa. Okay. Papa gets up, and before the funeral even starts, everybody is in white. Duda had the gall, the fucking nerves. This man has got to get his legs taken from underneath him, okay, and thrown into Lake Michigan, bitch, and then throw the rest of him into the Chicago River. Because how dare you and how bold of you to come to this man's funeral? It was given very much the 5 Heartbeats when Diane Carroll's husband got killed and Big Red came up in there to the funeral. If it's anything that I could do for you, and she stepped, get out. Okay, I said I wanted his mama to do that so bad because she was like, so you got the nerves to come up in here when we know you killed him. Man, I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't kill anybody. You may not have killed him, but you had your little lackeys come to the scene and do it. And it was like, get the fuck up out of here. I said, oh my God. Now see, that was the moment where everybody in that goddamn funeral home, in that church, in front of God, should have jumped down and they should have just beat the shit out of him. And God would have been okay with it. I'm pretty sure of it. I don't want to speak for God, but I just have a feeling. Okay, I'm just saying, I don't want to be blasphemous, but I'm just saying, I don't think it would have been a problem. He's the menace that needs to be put down. Meanwhile, girl, when Papa got up there, that's when the tears started coming for me. Because as soon as he started talking and then he just broke, I said, oh my God. And then when Kevin and Jake came up there to conference, I said, oh. He was giving his little speech about how basically he was living. Now, I felt some type of way about the speech, even though I get it. He was talking about his father was the one that he wanted to impress. He was living for his father's approval, and now he ain't really got nobody to live for. Now he got to live for himself. I said, so you want to live for your mama's approval? What about your mama's? The whole time I'm thinking, what about your mama too? Okay, your mama's still here, But I get it. And basically, the moral of the speech was, don't live for other people, live for yourself. Try to impress yourself, I said, all right, Mr. Papa Lanti. He said that. And I just feel so bad. That funeral. They did the memorial and all of that. And it was just so touching. Dude, I really had the nerves. Did you see the way Nook looked when he got up out of there? Like, he probably felt some type of way. But that was just how the episode ended with the funeral and the memorial. Yeah. Dude, I gotta go. He gotta get incapacitated some type of way. He has to bring down, okay? But anyway, y'all tell me how y'all felt about this emotional episode. And I will see you guys later. Peace.